Hi, welcome to the Joy Club. My name is Amy, and in this video I wanted to share a little story, something that happened to me today, a conversation I had, because I had a realization after this conversation and I thought it might be helpful for you too. So I had a conversation with someone that I know very well. I've known for a very long time, and I'm not going to share what the conversation was, but I shared something that I was going to do, and she seemed really surprised. Like, she didn't expect me to do that thing. And I felt kind of hurt because I thought, wow, that means she doesn't really know who I am. Like, how could she be surprised that I want to do that? And it made me think of other scenarios in my life where that's happened before, where somebody acts surprised at something I've said or something that I share that I like, and they seem kind of surprised, like, oh, I didn't know that about you. And it felt kind of hurtful, like, wow, people aren't really seeing me for who I really am. But I had this realization that, how can I expect people to know who I really am if I don't show them my true self? And I know that that is what is behind this situation, and I've been putting it on other people, like not seeing the real me. But if I'm really honest with myself, I can see where I have not shown up as the fullest expression of myself. And I know a lot of us do that. We wear masks around people because we want to be accepted, we want to blend in, we don't want to feel judged. And we think that a different version of us, something that's not really the full expression, we may be, somewhat showing our true selves. But I think a lot of us dim down certain parts of ourselves and play small because we want to make other people comfortable, or we just think we're not going to be accepted for those parts. And, that leads to a lot of shame and guilt and like feeling embarrassed about like who we are. And I think this is mostly just a fear that other people aren't going to accept us for who we are. And when we do express ourselves and share something that's authentic and a side of us they haven't seen before, it might raise some eyebrows, but that doesn't mean that they are judging you and that they're not accepting you for who you are when you're that way. They just may be surprised because they haven't seen that side of you before. And again, this might just be a fear that people are going to react that way. You might be pleasantly surprised, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what other people think. But of course, we let that drive so much of how we show up in the world. It's a natural human thing, I think, because we're social creatures and we need to fit in and have common ground with other people just to work together in community. So this is kind of like a primal instinct that we all have to fit in. But there comes a point when you can dim your light so much that you're giving up who you are, and then everyone's just kind of playing roles and wearing masks, and everyone's kind of looking the same and being the same. And the cost of not being our true selves is that we feel unseen, and I think that it can lead to anxiety and like mild depression. You just feel like you're not living the way you want to live, not sometimes realizing it's because you feel like you can't be yourself, you can't go after your dreams and the lifestyle you want to live, whatever it might be. And the real cost of that is that you're denying your soul, and really that divine part of you. The real you is a unique, singular expression of the divine. There is only one you. There will only ever be one you in the entire existence of humanity. It's supposed to be different and unique and quirky, because there is only one you. We're not all supposed to be the same and have the same beliefs and desires and ways of expressing ourselves and all of that. So it's something that we really need to embrace. And if we want to be our true selves, we have to be okay with maybe raising a few eyebrows. And I think we worry that people will say, well, you've changed. And when in reality, it's not that you have changed. It's just that you've taken off a mask and they're seeing something different. So it's changed for them, but you haven't changed. You're just showing more of your real self. So I wanted to sort of tie this into like light working. And if you consider yourself a light worker, you need to show up as your truest self. And this is something I'm still working on, clearly. I mean, I had this conversation with my friend today, and I thought, my God, I've known this person for decades, and she didn't know this about me. And it really, really took me aback. So I clearly still have a lot of work to do as far as that goes. And part of the reason why I started this channel, too, because it's forcing me to show up in a way that I want to. Like, I feel like it's my true soul's desire to just be myself and share what I have to share, because I think we each have something unique to share, a story, a perspective, and all of that. And I'm kind of forcing myself to do that by having a YouTube channel. But as far as light work goes, we all have something unique to bring to this conversation about what we want for the new earth. But if we're all, beating to the same drum, doing the same things that everybody else is already doing, which has led us to where we are now, that's not going to work if we want to see change. So we all really need to get more comfortable with taking off our masks and sharing our unique, quirky selves with the world. And that's what's going to help lead to change. So just a little thought I wanted to share today. I will be back next week with, I think, probably a channeled message. I'm going to meditate and ask Spirit for a message to kind of kick off this community. And I'll probably expand the message with tarot and oracle cards. So I would love to have you join me for that next week. I don't know which day it's going to post yet. This is Friday, August 29th when I'm posting this video. So I will be back probably later in next week is when that video will post. So hopefully you'll catch that. And I would love to have you join in on the conversation there. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye.